Okay, when you're gonna go to create a new reel, you can click on the little plus sign at the top right of your feed and click on reel. And it's gonna open up this little recording screen. And I've got cute little Kinsey here as our model today. And as you can see, all of your tools are right here on the left side of the screen. Perfect. All right, so I'm not recording anything right now. I'm just kind of like framing it up and seeing what I can see. The top tool here is gonna be your music. So when you're in this screen, you can search through the most trending sounds at the moment. You can click on saved and look at any sounds that maybe you've saved in the past. Or I can click on search music and type in the title of a song. I'm just gonna choose the top trending sound right now.
Let me show you what it's all about.
So on this song, I'm gonna grab on this little thing along the bottom here and move it left and right. I can see the lyrics and decide where I wanna start my reel. So I'll start it right here. I've actually found you kind of have to start it on the line before the one you really want to use. So if I click right here, it's going to start on that, yeah, I'm going to light it up sound. Perfect. Click done. Now that sound is saved for you. The next icon down is the timer. So you can set 15 or 30 seconds and you can record any amount of time up to that. That's going to be the max that it lets you record. Okay, the next one down is kind of tricky. You have to play with it and experiment to really figure this out. But this is your speed. So right now we're on 1x, which is just regular speed. There's also this 0.3 or 0.5, which is going to be slow motion. And then the 2x, 3x, and 4x is going to speed you up. So if I do the slow motion one, and Kinsey's just going to walk toward me and like maybe do like a little dance or a little hair flip or something, and the music's going to sound really fast, but when we play it back, she'll be slow motion. I'll show you what I mean. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, great. Now before I show you what it looks like, let's go ahead and record one sped up. So if you're doing a really complex dance or a voiceover or something where they're speaking really fast, you can do a sped up version of it. So it's actually going to slow down the sound so you can record slower, and then when we record it, when you play it back, it's going to speed you up. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Let me show you what it's all about.
All right. The next, I'm going to turn this back to 1x so that we don't have to worry about that anymore. And I'm actually going to delete the sound from this as well so that it doesn't play over me talking for the rest of this video. The next one down is going to be your effects. So in this screen, even though Kinsey doesn't need anything, she's just darling and perfect. If I want to add any fun effects like healthy glow or anything that we already have saved, I can kind of scroll through my saved effects and find one that I like. And when I click record, it'll apply the effect to that video. But then one thing to note is that going forward, every time you record a new clip, now I have to add that effect again. But if I tap it, it'll apply the last effect that I used. So it's not too much work. All right, I'm gonna turn that off. And the next one down is this little touch-up filter, and it just does a subtle, like little skin soften. It's definitely not as dramatic as the effects, but it kind of helps sometimes. And the next feature is something we use all the time, and it really comes in handy when you're recording a reel by yourself and you wanna be in it. This is the timer feature. So I can select how long I want it to go, and if you have a sound selected, it'll play the song for you. And you can select what part of the song or sound you want to use. So let's say I want to just record this like first few seconds, and then you can select the countdown to be either 3 seconds or 10 seconds long. So that way you can put your phone on a tripod, you can set this timer and then go get in position and you have time to get ready for it to start. I'm going to click set timer, and now it'll start a little countdown and it'll beep for me. I'll show you what I mean. When I click record, there she goes. Perfect. Perfect. So then it'll take you to the next part of the song, or however much time you have left in your reel. So far we've used 14.4 seconds out of the 30 seconds that we get. And you can kind of just keep doing that section by section. All right. Next up is the align feature. So this helps a lot too when you're recording yourself, or if you want to do a transition where you're changing outfits or anything and you want to make sure that you're back in the same spot. So I'm gonna just move the camera until Kinsey's kind of like lined up in the same position that she was before, and you can get as nitpicky with this as you want. But basically, it just comes in handy when you're trying to make it look like you're starting in the same position. And this overlay only applies right here for you. As soon as you hit record, it goes away. All right, that's it for all of the recording tips. Now I'm gonna go into the editing and show you how we do that from here. All right, so now that we've recorded all of our clips, I can click on this back arrow, and right here on the bottom left, I can see all of these different clips that we did. Let's apply, find one that doesn't have any sound associated. It goes away. Right here. So if I want to trim the clip down, I can click on the scissors and drag this little area to whatever part of the video I want to use. So let's say I just want to use the little hair flip that she did. I'll put it here and go to right after the hair flip. Now this is the only part of this clip that's going to show up in my reel. If I click trim, it applies the change. And then if I want to completely delete anything, just click on the little trash can and click discard. Perfect. So these are the 4 clips that we have. One of the things that is a bummer about Reels is you can't reorder these clips once they're in here. So make sure you record everything in the order that you want it to play. Click done, click preview, and it'll take you to this editing screen. Okay, I just pulled down the camera audio on this so that you can't hear what I was saying during these clips playing over and over again right now for this demo. But normally, if we had a song added, we could turn it up and down right here on the right, and we can turn up and down the camera audio on the left. So if you want to have a song playing as like just low background music in the background, you want to turn the camera audio up all the way so you can hear yourself talking, and then turn down the music or the sound to a low opacity, like maybe like a 10 or 20%, so that you can sort of hear the sound in the background. The next one over is this little microphone icon, and that is for recording a voiceover. So you just hold down this little red circle and start talking into your camera's microphone, your phone's microphone, and it'll add a voiceover. This is great for tutorials. Once you've added lots of clips and you want to just have one seamless audio going over the whole thing, then you can go back and change the opacity of the sound if you like to after this part. Next is your effects again. So if you want to add effects after you've uploaded videos, you can do that here. So click on this little icon. And the only bummer about this is that not all of the effects are available here. It's kind of random. Ooh, that's a crazy effect. Let's take that one off. Okay, next up is your stickers, and this is just like Instagram stories. Let's see. Let's put like these little hearts. So I can resize them and set them wherever I want, just like on stories. And then if I tap on them down here at the bottom of my screen, I can set the duration of when they show up. So let's say I only want them to show up like right as she starts walking toward me. I'll put it right here, and then as soon as she goes off the screen, I want them to disappear. So let's do them right here, and then I can kind of like move them so they're not covering up her face. And I can grab on this little slider here and to see how it looks. Perfect. Click done, and you can add as many of those as you want. Next up is this little marker icon. I can draw and add arrows and things like that on here as well. And lastly is going to be our text. This is something that we use a lot, and it can definitely be a little time consuming, but you can write whatever you want, change the fonts, change your colors, just like Instagram stories here. They kept this user base the same so that it's super easy to use when you're doing Reels, and you can resize it and place it wherever you'd like. Now, if you hold this down and move it all the way up, you'll see these little blue guides pop up on your screen. This will show you the center of your reel and also where your safe zone is. So if you place anything above this text-wise, it'll show up in your reel, but not on when people are scrolling it in your feed. So you want to try to keep everything within these guides. And also, if you pull it down to the bottom, your overlay will show up to show you where your profile information shows up, and also where your likes and comments and shares, all that stuff. So we want to try to keep our text in the safe area so that it's legible for everybody. Now, once I place it where I like it, I can do the same thing I did with that GIF earlier and set the duration. So let's say I just want it to show up right here, and I want it to play until the video will play and show you where you want to place it. Click done, and then I can add more text, put it somewhere else, set the duration of that, and say, let's say I want that to show up as soon as this one goes away. I'll wait for that to go away on here, start it right here, click done, and then you kind of have to just keep watching it over and over to see how it looks. So obviously this isn't how I would do it if I were really making a reel, but that's pretty much all those tools for you. Now, once you click next, don't worry, it's not going to post it. That's something that people always freak out when I'm showing them this. You can save it as a draft right here on the bottom, which I definitely recommend doing as you go if you're doing a really complex reel, because sometimes Instagram crashes and it's hit or miss if you're going to be able to get that back. Right here, if you click on the icon here, you can choose your cover photo. So this is the photo that's going to show up in your profile feed. So I can drag through the video and pick the spot where I like the photo the most, or I can click on add from camera roll and upload any photo I want. Click done, and then you want to go down to crop profile image, and this is really handy, and I like to center it or just make sure that the most important part of the photo is in the center there so that it shows up on your feed in an aesthetic way. And that's pretty much it. Add your caption, you can share it, or you can put it in your drafts. I'm going to save this to drafts. Now, when I go back to my home profile and click on my Reels icon, all of my drafts are right here. So I can see a whole bunch of drafts, and this most recent one is the one we just created. And if I want to click on edit, I can go back in, I can keep working on it, or add more clips. You can do whatever you want. So that's pretty much all of the tools and all the buttons for you. So go practice. It just takes a lot of practice. So practice, save them as drafts, download them, and just post them when you finish one. You can always, it does not have to live on your feed actually. So something that you can do once you post a reel, if you want, you can go into the options here and say remove from profile grid. And if I do that, then it takes it off of my actual grid, but it still keeps it in my reels and it still keeps it active on Instagram.